I know this is a subject of interest to many UTAG members. Why I am in court with the university. And I would want to use this medium to explain a number of things. If you have been with me on this series of videos that I have shared with you, you will realize the contribution I've made to the progress of UENR, the passion that I have for the progress of UENR. As at now. And so going to council in 2018, I went to council to champion the cause of UENR and not to fight anything that is personal to me. At the time I went to council, the council had been deliberating over the appointment and confirmation of a substantive registrar for over 1.5 years after a search committee's work was completed. The issues that were raised around it bordered on the statutes that was supposed to have been promulgated in 2016, but at the time of considering it for promulgation, there were issues in it. And so some technicalities were used to prevent the appointment of the registrar. This prompted the council to set up a committee to review the statutes for consideration. In that review, every union was represented at the committee level, and unions on campus made inputs into the statutes. And one of the things we had gone through in the university was that in the first administration, we saw like parallel leadership between Vice Chancellor and Pro VC. In the second administration, the same thing was happening. So the committee and its chair saw the need to revise that statute to ensure that we have one Vice Chancellor championing a vision supported by a Pro VC. And then also the aspect of appointing Pro VCs from outside the university was addressed in the revision of the statutes because we saw that we had come of age and our Pro VCs should be appointed from within. So these were the recommendations that were made in the revised statutes. And council set up a date to meet in Kumasi to consider these revised statutes and approve it. But when we met in Kumasi for a 3-day retreat, just on the first day that we met, what happened there was unpleasant. The council chairman said he was not aware of the statute review and therefore would not allow it to take place. To the extent that the Vice Chancellor was so emotional, and for nearly 3 hours, the council chair would not allow this to go on, yet had invited us to meet for 3 days specifically on this. All because the then sitting Pro VC would not allow those changes that were related to the revisions of the Pro VC's office to take place. Especially one, the Vice Chancellor should nominate a professor or associate professor within campus, and then 2, the Pro VC must be from within, and that the Pro VC will also not have any functions of its own, but then will work with the Vice Chancellor to help the Vice Chancellor's vision. These were issues of concern to the then Pro VC, but this was what the unions had agreed on, and we wanted to present it to council for consideration, but it would not even be permitted. So what the council decided was that they rather want another committee to review what the unions have come together to do. And the irony of it was that the one who chaired the previous statutes that had issues was now being called to come and review his work that has been reviewed. And so that ended the 3 days program in Sunya, in Kumasi, and we just returned. And when the unions heard this, the unions came together and wrote a petition to the Minister of Education that they would not allow this to happen. And so the Minister of Education assigned GTech to investigate this situation, and GTech Executive Secretary came here to find the details of it. So in the course of the minister trying to address this issue, then the then sitting Pro VC tenure was about to end. And according to the statutes that we were using by then, 6 months prior to the exit of the Pro VC, you need to start the search party to replace him or to reappoint or anything. And then the registrar, in sending the agenda for council, stated that extension stroke reappointment of the Pro VC. And the unions wrote to the council that they do not accept such an agenda, because if a Pro VC's tenure is ended, you must rather announce for a search party and the rest. You don't say extension or reappointment. That is not the way to go. And at the council meeting, council members reprimanded the registrar for putting such a thing there. And council amended that agenda and decided to go by a search committee. So what happened is that a search committee was put in place. An academic board came to appoint our reps for it. We went for the next council meeting to commission the search committee to work. And the council chairman decided to throw away that search committee and rather propose an evaluation committee, and nominated some 3 professors, 2 professors and 1 registrar to sit on that committee and evaluate the work of the outgoing Pro VC and reappoint him as a Pro VC. And the union said, no, we will not go by this. At that meeting, I told the council chair that this precedence we will not allow in UENR, and if they try it, I will take it to court. And the council chair said, I can do so. I set myself in prayer, and God said, yes, Eric, you have to do it. Prior to the next council meeting, the Minister of Education told the council chair not to bring up this subject because the evaluation committee had finished their work. Now let me tell you what happened when the evaluation committee decided to do their work. They wrote to the unions to come and present what they know about the outgoing Pro VC. The unions wrote to the evaluation committee and told them that this is not in our statutes, it's against the statutes of the university, and therefore they will not come. So FUSAG refused, GAWA refused, and UTAG refused to represent there. So this was an action by the unions to protect the sanctity of the statutes of UENR. And so when we met at the council meeting, prior to the council meeting, I sought an injunction on this. At the council meeting, the Vice Chancellor told the council members that the minister has called that the evaluation report should not be part of the meeting. The council chair threw it away. Then also, the GTech rep said that the GTech has said that they should not consider this. They threw it away. And then I raised my hand and said, I put this thing, I've put an injunction on this, and it should not be considered. So they invited the university lawyer, and the university lawyer advised the council not to consider the evaluation report. Okay, and then immediately after that, the minister invited the government appointees to his office to talk to them. And he warned the government appointees that they must make sure that the statutes of the university are respected, and therefore they should go back and do the right thing. When the minister requested for a meeting with the government appointees, we the unions also called the minister that we want to meet him. So we the unions met the minister before the government appointees, and we made our submission because we already had a petition before him. And therefore, when the minister finished, he told the government appointees that the tenure of the Pro VC has ended. Let the Vice Chancellor and the Registrar write to him to hand over everything in his possession, and let the council go and do according to the statutes, and give them 4 weeks for that. The 4 weeks elapsed, the council did not take action, and the minister invited all of the council members to Accra to have a meeting with him in his office. The minister wanted the council to know that the things we are doing are not helping the advancement of the university, and therefore wanted to see the way forward. At that meeting, the council chairman refused to go by the advice of going according to the statutes of the university. The minister therefore told the council that he's taking the matter to the president. So the minister took it to the president, and eventually the president dissolved the council and decided to replace the council chair and one other government appointee on the council. But prior to that, when the minister met the government appointees after that council meeting and gave them the directive to write to the Pro-VC that his tenure was over, when the letter was handed over to the Pro-VC, he took it to court. That because I had gone to court, he was not going to step down as a Pro-VC. So then the minister called me and told me what had transpired at the meeting he had with the government appointees, and the fact that he had instructed the government appointees to do according to the statutes as I was insisting and I was demanding at the court. And so he said that they side with what I am doing, but then they would not want the Pro-VC who is supposed to exit continue to hold on to the office because I am in court. So they requested that I pull out of court. I obliged and pulled out of court at the day of the hearing, and so that everything could progress. And following that was when the minister invited us to his office, and the council chair still refused to go by the advice of the minister, and the council was eventually dissolved. Then the government appointed a new council chair, and new council members were also added, and then we had to take off. Now, when that council chair took office, he was given 3 things that he must do to ensure the promulgation of the statutes and ensure the appointment of a new Pro-VC, a substantive Pro-VC for the university, and also to ensure that the issues of our promotions and appointments are also addressed by getting the right documentation for it. So Professor George Kankam took over as the new council chair, and within his tenure, within a space of 3 months, we had our new statutes approved, and then we also agreed on the way forward and the roadmap for the appointment of a new Pro-VC. Adverts were put out, but then there were issues with the adverts, and then the Pro-VC who had left office took that to court to seek contempt against the council chair, and that also travailed in the courts. But then the council continued to work, and we also get our promotions documents also worked on. So this was what we did until 2021, when our tenure ended and I left council. Then a new council chair was appointed, and the new council members were also brought on board. Now this is what happened. When the new council chair took office, the court proceedings were already ongoing. By this time, it was not me in court, it was the outgone Pro-VC against the university. The council chair, the new council chair, engaged me on the eve of his first council meeting for me to give him an update of all happenings in the university, right from the history like I have given in some of my videos, and especially on the court case. He wanted to understand things. When I had presented it to him, he asked me what would be my advice to him. And I told him that, council chair, if you really want to focus on the progress of the university, then I will advise that allow the court case to stay and then focus on the progress of the university. Because if you touch the court case, it is going to derail your efforts in advancing UNER. So he said fine, he would take my advice. But this did not happen. By the time I got to know, the council had gone into negotiations with the outgone Pro-VC and went into settlement agreement. And the terms of the settlement agreement were that, number one, that evaluation committee report that unions objected to should be considered by the council, and they should, based on that, appoint him as a Pro-VC. Number two, the council should pay him, the university should pay him 75% of the salaries that he has missed, okay, leaving the university, okay, and then we should make him, and then that salary should be paid from IGF, and then number three, we should make him a staff of the university. Even if we don't have clearance, we should appoint him a staff and use our IGF to pay him. And when I got this, I said, how can this be? And so I decided that no, what we have stood for will not be allowed. And this thing that they want to bind the university to is not in the interest of UNER. Please note that when I went to the first court case, I was a senior lecturer. I was not eligible for the position of a pro-VC. I did not fight because I wanted to be pro-VC, but I fought because I did not want a precedence that will create issues in the future for us as UNER staff. And then also, we wanted to protect the statutes of the university, which is the university's Bible. That is our constitution, and we must stand up to it. So when the council decided this, I said it is against our statutes, and I stood on my ground on the principle of what I did in the first court instance, and placed an injunction on the execution of this settlement agreement. So this is what has been tried in court. And the university applied that the court should throw me out because I have no justification for doing that. Yes, we've gone to court. The judge had looked at our submissions, and in his ruling, he stated that whatever submission I have made, I am right in the sense that what the university is doing is against the statutes of the university, and it is not legal. However, he thinks that I did not prove enough that I am the right person to bring it to court. What he means by that is that I should have stated that I am a potential pro-VC because I am an associate professor, and by virtue of that, if the council should go by that evaluation report, my rights as a potential pro-VC is being trampled upon. What in effect he means is that if a professor of UNER right now should take it to court that I am an associate professor or a professor, and what the council is trying to do and affect my rights because I have the possibility to become a pro-VC, then the court will listen to that person. Okay, so this is the ruling, and I objected to the ruling of the judge, and so I have appealed the case. This is what I will say with respect to the court case. So if you ask me, I am not being tribalistic. I am just defending the statutes that all the unions came up to develop, and we want that to be respected totally so that the university can be able to progress. Everybody on council must be guided by the acts and the statutes that establish this university. And I believe that it will help us go far, and it will prevent any precedents that will affect future happenings that are likely to occur. I want to submit this as my take on the court case, and you can judge for yourself how I have allowed myself to be used by God and to fight the cause of UNER. And that is all I stand for. I am not against any tribe. It is just in the interest and the progress and industrial harmony of this university. Thank you.